Look at what Romans 6:1 says. What shall we then say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? In other words, if you give rise to the flesh, grace has to continue covering, so you're not found in sin. If you continue in that weakness, sure, you feel safe, you feel that God has had mercy, and then you defend yourself. Don't know me according to the flesh. But what you're doing is having grace abound because you continue in your weakness. It's like a motor that only has a certain capacity of power. And if you drive it recklessly, the motor will blow, taking credit on the grace of God. It says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? It says, certainly not. There isn't a way. There is no way. How shall we, here's where the key lies. How shall we who die to sin live any longer in it? We can't live in sin. Don't you see that we are dead to sin? Look at what Romans 6:14 says. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under law, but under grace. If you were under the law, then the press has reason. There is sin. Well, they're in sin. Not us. We are under grace. And under grace, there is a covenant where there is coverage, a provision that God gave his son. And we who have experienced this rest understand this. But we can't give the flesh an occasion. That's why Paul in Galatians 5:8, Paul says, we are called to liberty, but don't use your liberty as an occasion to the flesh. So then, what happens? That the Apostle Paul sees us here as athletes that are running in a race to win. There are the rewards. There is that good feeling, that good spirit in those gifts, and those gifts of yours that adorn the doctrine, behaving, loving your brother, forgiving, not allowing wrath to take over, giving place to wrath, but allow the angels to take over. So you learn. Everyone carries their own burden. We must all learn and not strike the air. We must strike where you feel it. I bring to captivity to the obedience of Christ. It says in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 13, it says, if we are faithless, he remains faithful. He remains faithful because we are unfaithful because of this body of sin, not justifying our weaknesses, but he remains faithful in that. Now, when you deny him, he'll deny you. If you do not recognize him in all of your ways, there the angels say, well, there I do not get involved. You'll get disciplined. You'll reap what you sow. But naturally, we know that our salvation is secured.